Raiola has Haaland plans, Europa League roundup, Kimmich out for the year, and a transfer roundup all coming up in the next few minutes. As I'm your host, Matt Froelich, you are the One Footballers, and this is the Daily News. So first up, and we're talking yet again about the future of Erling Haaland, because his agent Mino has basically said that he controls the market and he knows exactly what is going to be happening with Erling Haaland come the summer. I think it's pretty clear that there is a release clause in his Dortmund contract and he will not be playing for the Bundesliga side come the start of next season. And this, of course, has alerted every single big club around Europe. There is so much talk that he's going to be moving to the Premier League or to La Liga, and Mino is there to talk about it all. Now today there's actually going to be more of an interview discussing where Haaland could potentially go next, but I've thrown together a few ideas of my own. The first one is Liverpool, a very attractive prospect for Haaland to be working under Jurgen Klopp. On top of all of this, I think Haaland would actually suit the fast-paced counter-attacking style that Liverpool often employ. I'm not saying they always need to sit back and hit on the counter, but when they do have the space opening up in behind, the likes that Sadio Mane and Mo Salah take advantage of, Erling Haaland will be able to do exactly the same, as well as bringing other top strikers into play. The same thing can't really be said for Pep Guardiola's side. Manchester City don't often have a lot of room in behind as they control the possession of the game, but having said that, I'm sure adding new arrows to Erling Haaland's bow will be something that Pep Guardiola can do, and Haaland will become a smarter and a better player because of it, even if he doesn't necessarily play his natural game. Of course, on top of all of this, there is Chelsea as well, but it looks highly unlikely considering they just signed Romelu Lukaku and they still have Timo Werner on the books. But alongside this, there's the two La Liga giants in Barcelona and Real Madrid, and given Barcelona's financial difficulties, Real Madrid seem like the only option. But are they really? Are they really going to sign Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland in the same summer? It looks as though, for all intents and purposes, that Kylian Mbappe will be joining the Galacticos. So, does that leave Erling Haaland in second? Is he a backup option? Maybe he would join at the same time? I can't really see that one happening. Karim Benzema's in such good form. They've got Vinicius Jr. as well. And if you add Kylian Mbappe to that mix, there's no way you could promise all three good enough game time. So I'm not quite sure Haaland will be joining. Personally, I think he'll end up in the Premier League sooner rather than later. Next up then, to a quick roundup of the rest of the Europa League action from last night. And Brendan Rodgers seems to not know what the Europa Conference League is. Well, he better get to know, because his Leicester City side are going to be playing in it after Christmas. After a 3-2 loss to Napoli, he said that, quote, he didn't know what the competition was. He's a football manager. It's literally the same as the Europa League. It's just called the Conference League instead, with the slightly few worse teams. Of course, he knows exactly all about it, and some half-decent teams have dropped in. Alongside Brendan Rodgers' team, there's also PSV, Marseille and Celtic, who have all joined the Europa Conference League. This will make for some difficult ties, especially when you consider some of the other teams that have made it through. But one of those teams, well, we're yet to decide, is Tottenham or Vitesse. Because of Tottenham's postponed game with Rennes, it meant that they still haven't played the final group game, and Vitesse's win over Mura puts them in pole position. It means that Spurs will have to defeat Rennes to make sure they make it out of the group stage in the Conference League. Personally though, when you look at the English fixture schedule coming up over Christmas, Tottenham have so many games, and according to the rules, the group stage games need to be completed by the 30th of December. I'm not sure Tottenham are going to be able to squeeze it in, so maybe they'll have to forfeit and they will bow out of the competition early. Oh, and actually, talking of dropping down in competition, that is exactly what Atalanta will be doing from the Champions League to the Europa League, just like Barcelona, as they lost 3-2 at home to Villarreal last night. This, of course, was the game that was being played that was postponed on Wednesday because of snow, but the snow held up, and Villarreal raced into a stunning 3-0 lead, only for them to be pegged back a little bit later, but Atalanta just couldn't quite do enough, and it finished 3-2 to the visitors. Next up then, bad news for Kimmich and Bayern Munich, and that is that the German midfielder will be out until the new year. With 3 games left to play, a lung infection has meant that he will not be able to train properly and therefore get match fit and get back into the team. This is complications after recovering from the coronavirus. He had contact with someone and it meant that he missed a couple of Bundesliga and Champions League games. Then it was official that he had COVID, and now, even though he's recovered, like I mentioned, there is a little bit of a complication. We hope Kimmich is fine and fit soon and back gracing the field, because he's missed some pretty big games for Bayern Munich. Not that it's made much of a difference, as they managed to beat Dortmund and beat Barcelona as well, finishing top of their Champions League group, and they head into the next few games top of the Bundesliga as well. Actually, on top of that, and we mentioned the Spurs versus Rennes game being postponed, their game against Brighton has also been postponed for Sunday, and on top of this, the Premier League have said that due to COVID outbreak, especially this new variant they're talking about, that all 20 Premier League clubs have to go back to the emergency situation. This involves all sorts of security and masks and keeping players distant from each other in the training ground. Heading into the winter, I think we could see a few more games postponed, and it's not exactly a very good sign for the Premier League. Next up then, a quick round up of the rest of the day's transfer news, and Barcelona have apparently agreed with Granada to send Alex Collado on loan for the rest of the season from January. Icardi, Diallo and Rafinha are all three names who could be leaving PSG in the January transfer window. Elsewhere, and Manchester City want to extend the contract of Portuguese fullback João Cancelo. And lastly but not least, West Ham reportedly had an audacious bid for Eden Hazard projected of around £21 million. This is like a FIFA where you go in and talk to a manager and offer him something so low and so disgraceful. He says no first time and storms out. What were they thinking? I mean, maybe. Not 21 million though. They're going to have to up their price if they want to bring in Eden Hazard from Real Madrid. Right then, finally we come to this week's Friday Feels, where you guys leave your footballing predictions in the comment section down below, and a few of the correct ones get read out on Monday. There's a big game in Liga this weekend as Lille, fresh from finishing top of their Champions League group, host Lyon. I think it's going to be a 3-1 victory for Lille. Elsewhere, and there's a Madrid derby on Saturday, a big game. Few players missing, a few players not 100%. I don't think Luis Suarez is going to make it, but Karim Benzema might do. But I'm going to go for an entertaining 2-2 draw. Lastly but not least, Steven Gerrard returns to Liverpool with his new Aston Villa side, despite the fact he's got them playing quite well. 3 wins in 4. Liverpool are such a good force, especially at home, and I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Jurgen Klopp's side. That's all from me then. Make sure you check back tomorrow for loads more OneFootball content, but until next time, enjoy the weekend, and I'll see you guys later.